In civil law, as you are aware, for someone to be guilty of failure to assist a person in danger, he must have been able to save that person without endangering himself. In this case, we submitted before the judges that Vincent RUTAGANIRA was in a situation of restraint and danger. So we struck a balance by saying that there was a danger, it was a constraint, but that was not what we call in law statutory ground for exemption from punishment. The danger was not such that it completely prevented him from acting. This is what we agreed upon. There was a danger, it was a mitigating circumstance, but it was not statutory ground for exemption from punishment.
La défense souhaite maintenant que la Chambre...
The defense now submits that the Chamber hear 3 witnesses regarding the character of the accused with regard to the mitigating circumstances which we believe should be granted to the accused, Vincent RUTAGANIRA. Thank you, Your Honor.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
2 of the 3 witnesses who are going to appear prefer to remain anonymous during their testimony. Tribunal's cameras recording all the proceedings will not film their face so that they will not be recognized by the public.
Can you tell the tribunal what happened at that time?
Ce qui s'est passé à ce moment-là.
One of the attackers came to me, showed me his machete, and asked me to smell it, saying, "I'm going to kill you myself." Meanwhile, other attackers took me by my clothes, saying, "I'm the one who is going to kill her." Everyone was pulling me. From where Vincent RUTAGANIRA was sitting, he heard screams and was curious to see what was happening. He said, "Bring that person to me." He asked me, "Do you have an identity card?" I showed him my Hutu identity card. He said, "I do not see any reason why this person should be killed." He took the card and showed it to all those who were there, saying, "This woman is a Hutu." But the assailants shouted, saying, "We have exterminated all her family members. Why should she remain alive?" With those words, RUTAGANIRA became angry. He held me by the hand and challenged the attackers, saying, "Whoever is courageous enough should come and kill her."
Would you say he was an upright man?
One day, something happened. I have a piece of land in town. He had a water supply project which was approved. He needed a place to install the public tap and a place for the local population to do its washing. My piece of land was chosen in the interest of the local population, but to my own detriment, even though I was his friend.
Madame le témoin,
Madame, can you tell the Chamber how long you have been married to Vincent RUTAGANIRA?
I've been married since September 1973.
How many children do you have with Vincent RUTAGANIRA?
We have 9 children.
In essence, Mrs. RUTAGANIRA, if I may call her that, was a prosecution witness. She was one of our main witnesses against her husband. She didn't actually see him do things, but she could give us an account of who he was hanging around with and his movements at the time. When Mr. RUTAGANIRA decided to plead guilty, he also informed the office of the prosecutor that he would be calling his wife as a character witness. And we agreed, and the wife had no objections to coming as a character witness.
With the Tutsi, there was no problem. We shared everything. We invited one another to weddings and various festivities. We also gave cows to one another.
Taking steps to come to the tribunal in Arusha to say, I have come as a character witness for my husband and will come back later, I think, shows this woman's sincerity. I think that this will have been a great help to the reconciliation work that she's doing herself within the women's associations. And I believe that for him and for his destiny, her presence here was crucial.
Cette présence était capitale.
Il est temps de conclure.
It is time to conclude. This is always a difficult moment for the lawyer. Always a difficult moment to remain silent. The lawyer wonders if he has said everything, if he has done enough for his client and to enlighten the chamber.
Son client et pour éclairer la chambre. Je vous demande de valider cet accord.
I pray the chamber to grant this plea bargain, both in respect of the facts and of our submissions. I pray the chamber to stay within the sentencing range, and that is the only point on which I believe we did not completely agree with the prosecution. While it requests 8 years, the defense believes that the sentence should not be more than 6 years.
À 6 années.
We've been accused of practicing gachacha justice in the OTP, and people have come up to us and say, this is genocide. These were heinous crimes that were shocking to mankind. How could you enter a negotiation and recommend 6 to 8 years? The reason why we could do that, and the tariff we recommended was so low, was because there was no evidence that Mr. RUTAGANIRA was in the forefront of the planning of the genocide in Kibuye. He was way down there. He was a foot soldier, what we call a foot soldier. Secondly, the evidence against him was of such nature that would not have amounted to very much for all the counts in the indictment.
Je vous demande d'appliquer le bas
I request you to apply the lower limit of the sentencing range and rule that the accused, Vincent RUTAGANIRA, be not sentenced to more than 6 years, from which the period already served in detention should be deducted.
La peine déjà effectuée en détention préventive.
Ce qui s'est passé autour de l'affaire Vincent RUTAGANIRA.
In terms of the Rwandan tragedy, Vincent RUTAGANIRA's case is a small drop of water, albeit an important one. And we should have confidence in the steps towards reconciliation, one of which has been made possible by international criminal justice.
Par la justice pénale internationale.
Qu'il me soit permis de
Allow me to tell you how I have been deeply moved, seeing in the past few days a man who has not only stood on his feet, but also started walking again. I am sure that one day that walk will take Vincent RUTAGANIRA to Mubuga Church,
jusqu'à l'église de Mubuga, et que le croyant qu'il est
and the fervent believer that he is will enter that church and kneel down to pray for the victims who lost their lives. This man will have thus fulfilled his destiny.
Son destin. Mesdames les juges, Madame la Présidente,
Your Honor, I leave Vincent RUTAGANIRA in your hands.
Vincent RUTAGANIRA.
Please be seated.
La chambre de première instance, statuant
The
publiquement,
trial chamber,
contradictoirement,
delivering its decision in public, inter partes, and in the first instance, pursuant to the statute and the rules of procedure and evidence, having ordered severance of your case from others in the indictment of 6 May 1996, having reviewed all the evidence and submissions of the parties, acquits you, Vincent RUTAGANIRA, on counts 1, 14, 15, 17, 18, and 19, finds you guilty of the crime of extermination, crimes against humanity, sentences you, Vincent RUTAGANIRA, to 6 years of imprisonment.
À la peine de 6 ans d'emprisonnement.
The court shall rise.
All rise.
Il est dans la nature de l'humain de nier ses...
It is human nature to deny one's misdemeanors. By accepting to plead guilty, one breaks with that tendency and thus consoles the victims.
Sur le cœur des victimes.
And for the tribunal in Arusha, forgiveness is extremely important, for it partakes of our ultimate mandate of contributing to the process of reconciliation between Rwandans.
The tribunal is trying hard to get fugitives who are running up and down, hiding. And even when they are brought before the court, they start simply by saying they are not guilty of anything. And at the end of the day, and through a very difficult process, they are proven guilty. So really, one, RUTAGANIRA's case is indicative of how easy it can be to administer justice. But secondly, that a show of remorse is in itself sufficient to show that this person can help the society to remold itself. His family is living in Rwanda, and it is properly integrated into the society. I believe even this head of the family can also be integrated and can help even others to take his examples.